This is my 1985 Honda Shadow 500. A few weeks ago, we rebuilt the front fork with new seals because it was leaking a lot. Stick around to the end of the video to find out if it's still... No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna find out if it's still leaking here in a second. But also today, we are going to replace the battery. This is a battery that was shipped dry. I'll get into why that is, and I also have to figure out how to use it because I've never done that before. And I believe the brake pads were contaminated with fork oil, so we're also going to be replacing the pads and cleaning the front brake. I really hope these fit. All right, let's take a look at this fork here. So when I did this rebuild, I made sure to clean around this really well, so if it was still leaking, we would be able to see and feel. And I don't feel any oil on here, so I think we might have been successful. Obviously, I don't know how it'll be in the long term. If you want to learn that, well, then you'll have to stick around and subscribe. But I guess this is going to be considered a success for now, and we're going to move on to the battery next. First things first, let's see if it'll just start up by some freak accident. I'm honestly surprised it has any juice at all after sitting for a couple of weeks. Maybe this battery's not as bad as I thought, but I really don't trust it. I've let it sit for probably a combined year or two, spread out, not all at once, but I just don't trust it, so we're still gonna pop it out of here and replace it. Huh. Well, that's pretty nifty. This must be some sort of like ECU component. It's like potted and everything. And this is just a tracker I keep on my bike. It's interesting. Pieces are just falling out. Let's see if we can get one of those pieces to be the battery. I might need to take the seat off. Nope. Looks like it's gonna come right out. Hey, there we go. This rubber piece is the same as the rubber piece that's currently on this thing. These are the same. And this one was still in there. Get rid of that and just put this one on. And then this thing is supposed to sit back in here, which it wouldn't fit in before. Okay, that's where that's supposed to live. I messed up the rubber thing a little bit, but it's definitely better than it was before. And to be clear, it was me that did that wrong. I replaced this part. This is the starter solenoid and it went out. So yeah, that hack job was all my fault. All right, well, now I just need to figure out how to make this battery work. It looks like it is identical to the old one, so that's good at least. Remove and discard sealed tube before filling with acid. Okay. That's this little thing. Gone. Step 1, place battery on level surface. Done. Step 2, remove filler caps and keep for later use. Done. Prepare electrolyte. If using bottle supplied with battery, we are not. If using a different container of electrolyte, I don't have any electrolyte. Was I supposed to have electrolyte?
Welcome to Austin Battery Pro Tips, where we power your passion with...
So I guess this battery just didn't come with the electrolyte solution or whatever. So I guess O'Reilly's has it in stock and we're gonna go pick it up. All right, let's get this over with. So I got two just in case I needed them because I have no idea how much is gonna go in here. Oh, this has been leaking. This one has not been, so we will use the leaky one first, I guess. All right, usually safety third, but hey, I don't know. I don't wanna get burnt. Don't worry, I'm not being too safe. I was supposed to be wearing eye protection and I'm not, so. So I guess there actually is a little bit of a benefit to going this way. In the fact that this battery has not been charged while it's been sitting on the shelf. So it will be a completely fresh, 100% brand new battery as compared to, what, a few months old or something if it had been sitting on the shelf. So I believe I do that. And then put that into the battery hole. Oh, we got some leakage, okay. Oh good, our tube is leaky, that's what's going on. Let's cut this down a little bit. Oh, I can see it filling up there. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's a bunch of bubbles from it fizzling as it activates. And once we're done filling all of them, we'll be shaking it around and bouncing it to release all those bubbles. All right, let's call that one good for now and move on to the next one. Okay, now that it's settled a little bit, let's go back through and add a little more battery acid. Just make sure it's topped off to that upper fill line. Yeah, I still see bubbles coming up, so I guess I'll keep playing with it. Alright, so yeah, we did end up only needing one of these. I kind of thought we'd only need one, but I'd rather not have to run to the store again. I'll throw this up on my shelf. And we might need to use this again if the levels fall any further after this, because there is a vent tube up here so it can vent. Alright, while we wait for this thing to settle, or whatever it needs to do for the next half hour, I guess we might as well tackle the front brakes. Oh! Look at this. These pins come out to hold in the brake pads. I've never seen that on a car before. And your pads, they just fall right out. I don't really know how to check if these were bad. There's lots of material on them, so it's kind of unfortunate that we had to replace them. I can definitely tell you they feel greasy, but so does this whole thing. I think we're gonna clean this before we put in the new pads. All right, I'm gonna say our rotor's clean and that we need to put in our new pads now, and I'm gonna be very careful to not touch these with my hands. Actually, first, do they match? They seem to match perfectly. Why are they orange? I do not know. Oh shoot, first I need to press the pistons back in. All right, let's get those pins pushed back through. There we go. That can't be right. What the heck? That cannot be right. Why is it so tight? It's like practically locked up. What the heck? All I did was replace the pads. Well, I guess dinner's ready, so I'm gonna deal with this after I eat. Fortunately, it's not finger food. It's some asparagus and steak pasta that Leo whipped up. Man, that hits the spot, but you know what would make this just a little bit better? It is the same brake side that you saw me drinking on a recent camping trip in the Subaru Royale. Oh, it doesn't hit quite as hard when you're not out in the woods, but it's still pretty good. Well, that's the timer on our battery, so that's good, but we still need to go figure out why our brake is locked up. I have done disc brakes on cars quite a few times, but it has been a while, so maybe I messed something up, missed a step, or maybe it's different on motorcycles. Let's go find out. Oh my God, I have found the tire's date code. These were made near the end of 2002. These tires are old enough to drink. I knew they were bad, I just didn't know exactly how old they were. That is insane. These things are getting replaced as soon as I get a chance, before we take this thing on any long road trips, that's for sure. From some research on Reddit, it sounds like my issue is the return port of the brake lever. So let's go up there, pop off the cap, and see if we can figure it out. Oh my, those are tight. I'm gonna go grab my impact screwdriver before I strip it. Dude, if you don't have one of these things in your toolbox, you need one. This was one of the first tools I bought when I moved out. Either that or replace all the screws on your vehicles with something that is not the worst design ever invented. I'm not sure if the return port's clogged, but it is really dirty in here, so it would not surprise me. I can't see it is the issue. Got this little metal piece that kind of blocks the return cover. I assume that's to try and reduce blockage, but it's not looking good to me. So essentially that, I believe, is the hole where it draws fluid from, and then there's a little tiny hole right there next to it where the return line is. First I'm gonna take a paper towel to it and see if I can get a better look at it. And of course this is gonna mean that we are gonna have to bleed these brakes, which I'm not too disappointed about. Oh, before I continue, I realized we need to put that battery on the charger, so we might as well get that process started. Looks to me like it managed to stay above the upper level. Actually, yeah, it's above the upper level. I definitely didn't leave it there. But yeah, that's where it is now. Let me know in the comments if that's dangerous or something. I assume it'll just vent out of the hole here. It says to not use a charger over 2 amps, so I'm gonna read the details on this one. 12 volts, 10 amps. I better read the manual because it might not actually output that much in battery charge mode. No, this thing only does 10 amps. I'm gonna look up and see if that's actually a problem, because they did specifically say to use a 2 amp charger. From all I could find, it didn't sound like it would make a difference, and I'm assuming this smart charger is smart enough to not push too much power, or is it the battery that pulls the power? I don't know. We're gonna try charging it up with this thing though, because this is what I have and I don't want to buy something else. Let me know in the comments if this is a really bad idea. All right, it picked it up and it's charging, so I guess we'll wait on that for a while now. All right, so I've got a safety pin that I'm going to probe the return line with and see if I can get anything out of it. I don't know if I'm doing anything. Does the front wheel spin, I wonder? No, front wheel is still locked up. I haven't done anything. Well, now there's no brake fluid in the system at all. I just loosened the caliper bleed valve. If this wheel still doesn't spin, then I think we have a caliper issue. So what I'm seeing that kind of makes the most sense to me is that I didn't grease the slide pins. Let's pull these back off and do that, and then bleed the brakes and see if they're still stuck. This is some CV axle grease that I got for the Subaru Loyale, but I don't think brake calipers are too picky about their grease, at least I hope not. All right, let's see. How are we doing now? Oh, I think we might have found the issue. Let's get these bolts back in. Oh, we spinning good now. I guess we'll get some brake fluid in there and see if it continues that way. All right, how's our front brake feel now? It's not perfect, but it's spinning relatively freely. I think as we ride, it might loosen up a little bit. I think that's a thing. I'm gonna call it good though. And in the meanwhile, our battery has become fully charged. So I guess it's time to throw it in the motorcycle. So after being fully charged, there were quite a few more bubbles in here, but I appear to have gotten them all out and we're still at pretty good levels. Actually, let me double check. Ooh, one of them is low. I better go top that off. There, now we're looking pretty good. Oh, according to this, there is supposedly a breather tube somewhere. Oh, this is gonna be your breather tube. Interesting. So yeah, there's actually a breather tube on this bike. I didn't know that. So we're gonna try and line up the hole on our battery here with that little tube right there. Oh, this tube's a little worn at the end. We'd better cut it a little short. Fun fact, these are the exact pair of scissors I used in elementary school. I think in like 3rd grade or something. And you can imagine exactly how sharp they are. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. Continuing to keep it clean as I've been trying to do since I cleaned my shop that one time. Let's throw on the helmet and take this thing out and see if the brake feels any better. Well, it sure seems to me like that fixed it, but I think I do need to wait for the brake to kind of bed in to know for sure. I will tell you that I locked up the front brake on that ride, which I tried to do before I did this job, and it didn't work. Now it definitely does, and I also need a change of underwear. I think that's a reminder to always wear my full gear, even if I'm just going on, especially if I'm just going on a test drive, because if I'm going on a test drive, that means I've changed something and it might not behave how I expect, as it did when the front brake locked up. Obviously, I was able to release that hand and let it go, but that was terrifying. So yeah, next time you see this thing, we will be putting new tires on it and maybe taking it on a little road trip or camping trip or something. It's been a while since I've ridden this bike a lot. Like I said, this tire was from 2002, and I'm gonna go check the rear one right now. Well, turns out the rear one's only from 2013, but still, I'm gonna replace both of them. That's something I knew when I bought this bike like 3 years ago now, and I can honestly not believe I've made it as far as I have on this thing without replacing these tires or dying. Kind of foolish of me to let them go this long. Well, until I get the tires fixed, I'm only gonna be riding this thing on short trips, but aside from that, I think this thing is pretty much ready to go again. I still don't love how the front brake feels. It still feels very stiff and wooden. If you know what I should look for to improve that feeling, then let me know down in the comments below, but otherwise, I think it's completely functional. Well, I guess that's all I got for this week. I will see you again next week. I don't know what we're gonna be doing, but I will say I have been looking at buying a car. I'd love to hear your speculations down below in the comments. I will say, look at what I have. What is missing from my fleet? Well, a couple things are, but I'd love to hear your guesses. I think if you've been watching my shorts, you might even know. I might have mentioned it. Well, if you like this video, if you like seeing me tinker with this old motorcycle, it's like, what, 40 years old now? Well, hit the like button, you know where that is. And then if you want to see me do stuff on this in the future, like road trip it or go camping with it, get to test out my ultralight camping setup, then hit the subscribe button, because that's definitely going to be happening this year. I've been wanting to go on an ultralight camping trip. We might even try to camp both Leah and I off of this single bike, which would not be a whole lot of storage space for the two of us, but we'll see if we can make that happen. I guess that's all I got for you there this week. I'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. having a motorcycle that just starts up.